Hello and welcome as always to another philosophical question to be discussed by myself. And as I always say, I would love to speak to somebody else, but there's nobody here. I'm all alone and I have to practice. Let's generate a number for the list. 158. That's down here. Does it have... Oh yeah, it has separate categories. I never realized that, actually. So this is about society and government. Others are about morality and ethics. Okay, society and government. Let's see. I hope it doesn't get too political. That's always... That can be quite controversial then. 158, yes. What is the biggest threat to the social contract in our country? What do they mean by our country? This seems to be an American homepage. There might be different in my country. Let's take that. Let's take Germany, okay? What is the social contract? As always, it's good to start questions like these with defining what it means. As far as I understand, the social contract means that young people start working and work and work and work, and when they are old, they can lay back and other young people will take care of them. I hope that's right. And if not, then this is how I see it. In the past, it was a thing of the family, right? That's why there were so many big families. You wanted to have a lot of children who could take care of you when you were old. And in some countries, that's even the case today. You know, we wonder that in poor countries, people have so many children. Yeah, it's their social contract. You know, if you have 10 children, maybe 5 survive, and they can give you some money when you're old. Yes, in our country, and in a lot of Western countries, we have a different system. We have this implemented in the social security system. If people are ill, they have paid money into the health insurance. If they get old, they have put something into another insurance. It doesn't have to do anymore with your own family. So the whole country should be your family and take care of you. Yeah, the biggest threat to that, because, I mean, it worked fine until now, right? What could be a problem? Well, the biggest problem could be if there are more old people than there are young people. And because then, what can the young people do? Should they work more? In the past, they had to take care of their grandparents. Today, they have to take care of 10 grandparents from different people. I mean, it's as I said, usually this is connected to insurances, and people put money into the insurances, and so the money is there later in the end. But, yeah, what could threaten that? Of course, you know, if the social structure of a country changes and there are not enough people working, for example, not even young people, but older people as well, or if we still stop working quite early, although we could go on working, but we are used to what is it, 65 or something like that to retire from work. If we do that, then there are people who live for 20, 30 years and want to have money to be supported. And maybe that won't work in the future. So the biggest threat for the social contract is population changes and people living longer and being more healthy. What can we do against those threats? It's not part of the question, but let me put some thoughts into that. We could, of course, create jobs for people who are older. I mean, or let people work longer. I mean, it's clear that somebody who was a builder, you know, worked with his hands and his muscles for all his life, he probably wants to stop working at a certain time. But as far as I know, a lot of people can't work anymore in their mid-40s or 50s or something like that. At least in the past, that was the case. You know, their bodies are broken and torn. But we have a lot of jobs that are different today. What would be a typical job? I mean, a salesman, a clerk in a shop, a shop assistant. Why should they stop working at the age of 65? I know a lot of old people who have shops, who love their shops. 70-year-old, 80-year-old women who sell, I don't know, fashion. Or I remember buying my first comic books in my town from a lady that looked like an old witch. I liked her very much, and she was very friendly and smelled like tobacco all the time. So there are shops like these where people work until they die. And so in the future, why not have that? It's clear that you don't want to sit in a supermarket at the age of 80. It's hard work, but you could work in another place. Same goes for offices. I mean, of course, your mental abilities go down a little bit when you get older, but don't put a number on that. Don't say, well, you are a good secretary, but it's now, you're 60, 65 now, or 66. Stop working, go home, retire. Oh, why? I could imagine office workers working at the age of 80, if they are doing a good job, if they enjoy that. I know what you want to say. You want to say, oh, you want to make people work until they are old. No, I don't want to make them, but we are talking about the social contract. If that is not under threat, if it is not threatened in any way, well, stop working whenever you want. Stop working at the age of 40. If that works, then why not do it, yes? But if it doesn't work, then that might be a solution. To have people work longer, as long as they can, or get different jobs, or change the jobs a little bit. I mean, today you can do a lot of things from home office. So, and that's the other thing, of course. I think we will have more and more people working privately, self-employed people who work for themselves, take care of themselves. And that might be a good idea too. To make it part of the social contract that not your children or the children of other people will care for you when you are older, but you take care of your older self as long as you are young. I mean, that's the way it works in America, and we have a lot of poor people and a lot of rich people there, and it's strange for us in Germany. But, I mean, that would be good, right? If I learn at school already that I have to prepare for being old. I know I wouldn't have listened to somebody saying that, but I grew up in a world where where people weren't worried about the social contract or social changes. I mean, I'm part of the problem from my generation, I think. If I had learned at school, when you go get an education, get a job or something, put part of the money aside for later, make an investment plan, make a retirement plan at the age of 20. If I had learned that and it had been normal in my youth, I would have done that. And that would be a good thing for everybody today. Because yes, I belong to a generation that will have problems in the future. I don't have children, so why should anybody care for me? The government can take care of me. No, what I'm trying to do is now to make plans for my retirement. But I don't even think about retiring. I mean, the good thing about my job, what I'm doing here right now, is that I can probably do it until the very moment I die. And check back to this channel to see if I die in the near future or in the far future. And it would be nice, actually. Because that would mean I wouldn't lie in a hospital and suffering for a long time. It would mean that I die right here, doing what I like, and that is talking to myself and thinking about philosophical questions. What do you think? Do you have children? Are you worried about the future? Do you have a retirement plan? And are your children willing to work for other people? I don't know. Tell me what you think about this political question. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks.